Kalaza is known as termes in our language. It means a big stomach. A few years ago, my friend Henry, our football hero, got sick. At first, we all thought it was just malaria, but it didn't go away. It just got worse.
Siku moja niliamka nikijisikia vibaya na nimechoka sana. Usiku wote sikulala. Nilikuwa nimejisikia hivyo wiki nzima. Sikuenda shule sana, ninaenda siku moja.
Alikuwa anacheza mpira, yeye ni footballer. Hata kwa darasa pia alikuwa sawa. Wakati sasa alianza kuwa mgonjwa, yeye akaanza kufifia hata kwa kujibu maswali. Sasa kijana akakosa kabisa kuja shule. Kakaa nyumbani karibu 1 year hata.
Kwa hiyo mwaka mmoja hivi bila alikonjeka tulifunguka the whole year. Mwaka mmoja hiyo yote niliuza ng'ombe ya 50,000 mpaka ikabidi wakati mwingine niingie Karita upande wa Uganda hapo ndani. Nikakanyaka karibu 3-4 Karita huko nikijua dawa kingi.
Henry stopped coming to school. We missed him so much. The football team wasn't the same without him.
Nilikuwa nasikia uchungu kabisa. Sababu sifanyi kazi zingine, akili yote iko kwa hii kijana mpaka wakati mwingine tukaenda kachiliwa. Ndio akapatikana sasa ni Kalasa. Wakati dingwa tu sindano hivi, kijana akapiga nduru ile ajabu. Baba, nimekufa baba. Nimekufa. Hii kitu kali. Sasa mimi mzazi kama mtoto analia tunalia wote. Ikiwezekana mchinjwe dawa tukule kwa mdomo direct kama tufanye aje. Sababu hapa kila siku.
When Henry came back, some kids were scared to sit next to him in class or play with him. They thought they could catch Kalaza from him. But it doesn't spread like that.
Ile tulikuwa hospitali, nilisikia vizuri. Watu walifurahi ile tulikuja. Nasikia vibaya vile watu wamefanya mtihani. Mimi ngaripia sasa.
Renyaman.
Hapa ni kwa kina Henry.
Sara nyama.
Takate nyama.
Sara. Aya tani Henry wan kisab ki jaya nyaman. I've come now to see the progress of Henry, to see whether he's good, and I've seen that he's well. It's good.
Henry is now better, but still has invisible scars. He always remembers the 34 injections. He used to limp when he walked. He says every champion carries scars, and to us, he'll always be our champion. Now, we are back on the field, happy to enjoy our football again.
Nasikia vizuri venye nilienda shule. Hapana masomo. Mimi nacheza mpira na marafiki zangu. Nataka nisome nikuwe daktari. Ninataka nikuwe daktari, hiyo ugonjwa ilinitatiza. Sasa niuwe hiyo ugonjwa.
To all the doctors and scientists out there, please remember us children. Make medicines that don't hurt so much.
Let's give a clap once again to DNDI. And probably by a show of hands, we see and we don't judge. How many of us are knowing of Kalaza for the first time?
The sudden onset of the monsoons has taken.
Ni wangapi tumesikia Kalaza? Juu hata mimi ni moja. We see and we don't judge. Sindio? I am sure by now as we're living here, These are some of the diseases that we are going to research about, to report about, to get more information about. Because watching that video and listening to the cry of children, indeed it's alarming and it's time to take action. At this time, I'd like us to stand. Akinimwambia msimame mara mingi. At least this is the only opportunity I have to tell people to stand. Juu hata mtoto wangu saa zingine anaambianga simama nikutuma, anaambia si uniambie tu nifanye nikiwa nimekaa. So telling adults to stand. Thank you. No, whatever we are doing, we can't do it while seated. But now we will have to stand hivyo nyuma. So we form like one curve. So your curve ianzie pale, ikienda hivyo. Very fast, in like 5 minutes. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. In there. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sufuria in the kitchen cooking. Very nice. So of all subjects that I have studied, si eti sijui but sipendi, jua inanisumbua akili, is maths. Na hii ndo time mwalimu wa maths alikuwa anaingia class. Kuna hapa? Mwalimu wa maths hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni Shanzu. Kwa hivyo, I didn't like maths, but napenda mahesabu ya pesa sana. Ya pesa nayo ni non-negotiable. So remember in class, we used to be taught multiples of 2, 3. Gani zingine? Mmesahau maths? LCM, square root. Sio ulizi hiyo. Naona nyinyi mlipata A. So now I want to hear from you. What are the multiples of 3? We begin with 3, 6. Mshapata A. Mshapata A nyinyi wote. Naona mshajua. So this is what we are doing. We want to test our mathematics. All right? So we will begin by counting. 20. 20 is outside. 21 is inside. 30 is outside. Okay. What is inside? Aya, we are inside. So now, tutaanzia hapo kwa Ruth Care. Ruth Care anasema 1, 2. Na nyote ni Waswahili, msitupoteze ikifika kwa numbers in Swahili. We are saying them in English. Ati 30. 30 kwanza ni multiple of 3 ama? Ama tuise bas. Now we are saying it in Swahili. So unasema 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kwa hivyo tukifika pale kwa multiple of 3, ikikufikia you don't say it, you clap. Sawa? I will try. Sio umeenda mbele. Ruth, anza 1. You're not clapping. If it's not a multiple, you just say it. And now we start afresh. Si tumelewa sasa? And it's faster. Ukianguka, unasonga mbele. Ingeni tu. Fanyeni hivi, ingeni pale katikati ndio mbant, juu mmechelewa. Hata tuwapati nini, hatuwapei instruction ndio wabant. Hatuwapei mwa Kenya. Let's start. 13. Nice. Songa pale mbele. Ndio hiyo sasa. Kwanza hiyo kuchelewa kwanza, wewe uko mmoja wetu. Tulikuwa tumesema thank you. Umefika namba?
Kwa 20. Amepiga kofi 20.
Haya, sawa, tuendelee. Very nice. Very nice. Tuende pale mbele. Asante sana. Alex. Ule umetoka kwa 28 alafu Alex akadurudisha 12. Sana mbele. Alex ni kama unapenda kudance. Enda mbele. Aya, tuendelee. Very nice. Iko sawa? Bado iko sawa. Wewe umesema? Hapana. Wewe enda tu pale mbele. Thank you. Ngoja. 33 is a multiple of 3. Pole. Si nimwambia mimi sijui maths. Ngoja. 32 endo unafaa uende. Yes. 32 is a multiple of 3. Yaani hata ulikuja mwisho bado hujapata Mwakenya. Umekuja mwisho na hata Mwakenya hujachukua bado. Umesema 30? Very nice. Tusimame tu, tusitoke. Wagani hao? So now, mumesema gender equality. Nataka mtafute partners. But I am giving you a very short instruction. So mkiwa hapo, nataka mwende mtafute mtu yoyote ambaye out of our watu wote, mtafute mtu ambaye ako na dreadlocks. Uko na dreadlocks, usipote. Ukipata mtu wa dreadlocks, kuja. Ukipata mtu wa dreadlocks, kuja. Ukipata mtu wa dreadlocks, kuja na yeye. Very fast. But you know funny thing, Funny thing, if you're a reggae fan, we only say that you don't need to have what? Dreadlocks. So nani hapa ni mrasta? So kama unasikizanga reggae uko na dreadlocks, So now, at least now you have a partner. Weka hauna partner, mtagani? Mnaweza share. So kama hauna partner, by the way hizo ni ready. Now, sio mimi nimewachagua. Ni watu hawajui mahesabu wamewachagua, sawa? Si mimi. So now I want hawa wasomi wenye wanajua mahesabu, muniambie mnataka hawa watu wafanye nini. So this is what we are doing, Musipigwe picha. But disclaimer, as they dance, it's just for entertainment purposes. So DJ, uko na ile ngoma ya kuanguka nayo? So nataka wanakuja hapa hivi wanaanguka nayo, wanasonga. Munaanguka nayo, munasonga na partner wako. And then we are judging, kuna watu wanacheza huko kusho, Tena hivi. Very nice. Back to my team na nyinyi pia tunaanguka nayo. 1 2 3 go. Yes. Now look for your partner alafu mdance na yeye mkiwa hapo. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Fantastic. Masai deadly. Thank you so much, DJ. All right. Thank you so much. Kama ulikuwa umesahau multiples of 3, angalau kwa sasa umekumbuka. Wasemaje? So we'll go right into a presentation that we have this afternoon. And the conversation that we'll be having is still on partnership, collaboration, what are other institutions and organizations doing. And we have a presentation from Caroline Nekesa, who's the Associate General Manager for Minet Kenya. Tumpigie makofi anapokaribia. Makofi mpaka afike. Patricia na table yako, makofi si kitu ya kunyima mtu. Very nice, very nice.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm the one who has requested to present from down here instead of going up, because I feel like this is a pulpit. You know, that pulpit feeling. And I don't want it to be a preaching. I want it to be a conversation of some sort, yeah? So I feel more comfortable down here than up here. Kama mtu anioni unaniambia, then I'll move towards your side, yeah? My name is Caroline Nekesa. I work for Minet Kenya. And the first question I wanted to ask now, I think for some reason the presentation has gone up before I ask the question, but in the spirit of mathematics, because this afternoon it's all about maths, let me just see, in the first maybe 5 seconds, who can tell when Minet was set up? 1, 2, 3, the year, 4, 5, gone. 62. Wacha zako. Aya, wacha nijaribu. Mmeshafanya hesabu. So, anyone who has a guess of when the company was started? 70? No, the year. 1947. How many of you were born? Huh? We have 2 people who were born in 1947. Nani? Acha, no, it's not possible. We don't have a 78-year-old in this room. Now, I don't know if I should start with the questions before I do the presentation or do the presentation before the questions. Questions first. Questions first. Eh? Okay. Aya, because I'm talking kuuliza maswali, I'll ask the question. Who's ever heard about Minet? 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. So if I can just move to this side and ask, what do you know about Minet?
It's an insurance company, mostly deals with teachers, insurance, yes.
All right, someone else, just one more person here. What do you know about Minet?
As a child of 2 teachers, I was a beneficiary enlisted under Minet, under my parents. So, and I didn't get the services. It was very slow to claim when you go to the hospital. So I know a bit about Minet.
Okay. One more person.
I knew about Minet when it was being called AON Minet.
Okay, so there was Aeon Minet, then there was Aeon, and then there is Minet. What people know mostly about Minet now is it is a teacher's medical insurance, right? So my job here today is not to sell insurance, because whenever you see insurance people standing in front of you, wanataka kuwauzia insurance, ndio? So leo hatuuzi insurance, okay? Although our head of business development had to go through my slides, so maybe hapo ndani ameweka kitu kuuza insurance, because you know, business development people, there's someone who said they're in business development, they have to sell something. But today the discussion is not about selling insurance. So let me just, I hope I didn't do the wrong thing. Just a minute. Okay. Good. So today we are talking about 78 years of safeguarding Africa's future. Ni kizungu mingi, but what it is saying is we have been here for 78 years, and I just want us to have a small discussion of what have we been doing for the last 78 years and what are we planning to do for the next couple of years without selling insurance. So I don't know how that is going to happen, but God help me, yeah? So why are we here today? First of all, to reintroduce us. Most of you think we are an insurance company. Most of you think we are a teacher's medical insurance company. Yeah? So we need to reintroduce ourselves so that you can see who we actually are. Yeah? 2, to showcase our 78-year legacy. So we've been here for 78 years. What have we done? Okay? And then to show you what we are talking about when it comes to risk leadership, or what is risk and how do we manage risks. To also show you our community impact, because again, this is mostly community media. You want to see how can we partner, okay? And of course, media partnership. Now, 78 years ago, the company was formed in 1947 as JH Minet, okay? And hence the name Minet. That is over 7 decades ago. So we stand among the pioneers of insurance broking in East Africa. Demystification number 1, we are not an insurance company. Okay? Does that confuse you? It does confuse you. We are what you call brokers. Nani anajua kazi ya mabroker? What do brokers do? They intermediate, right? They intermediate between the seller and the buyer. Okay? And what do brokers earn? A commission. Correct. So up to there, you know who Minet are. We are not an insurance company. We are not licensed as an insurance company, but we are licensed as a medical insurance provider. And that's why we are able to handle schemes like the teacher's schemes. But we are not an underwriter. So insurance companies are also called underwriters, okay? So this foundation of starting as JH Minet introduced risk management, okay? So now it moved the broker from just an organization that places insurance to an organization that develops, like mitigates risk management. And I'll show you how that happens, yeah? And it brought about expertise in the area of brokerage. Previously, brokers, sometimes you call them sales agents, they look like nuisance. Yeah? Because wanakuja wanabisha, tunauza insurance. Sometimes you give up and say, okay, fine. Shika hii 2,000 shillings for whatever insurance, leave me alone. So they looked like they were not experts. But what does an expert insurance person actually do? Okay? So this heritage just represents more than a history. It is our bedrock of competence. It is showing for 78 years we must have been doing something right in this environment for us to stay for 78 years. Now, unlike what is sometimes perpetuated in the press, and we have had situations about ownership of Minet, yeah? You guys have read about some people being termed as owners of Minet. It's not true. I thought this is important for you to see who owns Minet, yeah? So 59.45%, unfortunately, I think it's not very clear, so I'll read it from here. 59.45%, which is the majority shareholding, is owned by a private equity fund. Do you know what a private equity fund is? So private equity fund is foreign investors who have money and they look for companies that are doing business in areas that they are interested in. Ni kama donors of some sort, only that private equity fund, what they do is they put in their money so that they can get some profit out of it. When you put in your money in a company, sema leo you start a company and then you approach me and say, okay, I'm starting this shoe company, can you put in some money to support my capital and everything? I can put in, say, 50,000 and tell you every year from that 50,000, I need 5,000 shillings. But after this number of years, I'm moving my money out and look for another company that is doing very well and put my money there again. So we have a private equity fund and information is out in the public. Go to Registrar of Companies, you will see, called Capital Works, who this year have sold the company, or they have sold their shares, not the company, they've sold their shares to a company called Adenia. Anyone who has heard about Adenia? Yeah? Adenia is the same company that has also invested in QuickMart. Anyone who knows QuickMart? Yeah? So those are called private equity funds. So private equity, hata wewe unaweza eka pesa yako kwa private equity for your information. It doesn't close its doors to only, you as an individual can be part of a private equity. If you have a lot of money, put it in a private equity, they will take it, they will buy a company, they'll be giving you profits every year, and after a certain year, they collect your money, they give back to you. Okay? Yeah? Then 20%, which is also second majority, guess who owns it? The government. Did you know that? Through KDC, formerly known as, nyinyi ni wanahabari jameni. What was KDC formerly known as? Huh? What was it known as? It used to be known as ICDC. Has anybody heard of ICDC? So if you ask your parents, or kama nyinyi ni Gen Zs, your grandparents, about Minet ICDC, they will tell you they know that company. Because at some point it used to be called Minet ICDC. Okay? So government through KDC owns 20%. Then you have 12% owned by staff. So one of the things that the company has done as a retention strategy for people, the way sometimes companies have a lot of resignations and people leaving, one of the holding, for retention strategy, your company is to give shares to staff. It does two things. One, it retains the staff. Two, it makes you work hard. Why? So you're working hard for yourself. So unajua una own shares kwa company. So when you're working, you know you're actually working for yourself. Then 8% has Funguo Investment. Funguo Investment, again, is also a private investment company that invests. So you can check in Google, all those things are in Registrar of Companies. Those are the owners of Minet. Are we clear about that subject? Thank you very much. Now, when I was talking about legacy of competence, for these 78 years, my friend there says he's 78 years because he was there in 1947. For 78 years, we have done training of all the brokers, sales agents, name them, that you see hovering around this space called Kenya. Majority of them were trained at Minet. Okay? For 78 years, another thing we've done is set standards. A lot of industry standards in the insurance sector have been influenced by Minet because of how long we have been there. Okay? We have been resilient in growth. Governments have changed. Somebody says they knew us as Aeon. It was Minet ICDC. It was Minet ICDC, Aeon, Minet, Aeon, then back to Minet. So we have changed ownership all these years, but we are still here, okay? And then, of course, continuous evolution. We have mergers, we have acquisitions. Like now, we have Adenia, Capital Works is leaving. We don't know, in the next few years, somebody else is going to come. And that is just who we have been. Now, we are a Pan-African powerhouse. Why? We are in 12 countries. Okay? So we are not only in Kenya, information is online. We are in so many Pan-African countries operating. Okay? We have unmatched expertise, and I can tell you, brokers wanajulikana kama watu wa kwenda kusema, please buy. We don't do that. We come, we do what is called risk assessment, and we tell you all your risks, and we tell you where you can place those risks. That is expertise. Okay? So we don't just sell a solution. Okay? We have comprehensive solution. Risk of anything that you can think about. Remember, we are brokers. We don't own the solutions. So what do? Ukikuja ukisema, niko na pets, for example. I have a dog and a cat. I need insurance to cover their vaccination. We will traverse the country and the world and get you a risk solution that is going to address that problem. There is nothing we can't place. Anyone who thinks of anything that can be insured and you've never heard of that insurance, tell me. Anything that can be insured. Mguu zako. Do you know there are people who've insured body parts? Yeah? Think of anything that can be insured and you've never heard of that insurance being advertised. Hair? What else? Plants? What? Voice? So now, if you start Googling voice insurance today, you will not see anything. True? But when you come to Minet and you say, I have this voice that I don't think, kwanza watu wa radio, you shouldn't be insuring your voices. Yeah? If your voice, for example, is going to cause you not to earn a living because umepata sore throat, you need insurance that is going to pay you while you're not being paid by the media house because your voice is not working. Ama mnafikiria ni jokes? See jokes? I'm actually telling you the truth. If you insure your voice and you're not able to earn an income because your voice is not working, you need to have insurance pay you for that period where you are not earning an income because of a voice issue. Now, you see, that's the thing. We don't sell insurance. What we do is we will connect you with the insurance company that is able to give you that cover. Tumeelewana. I like such things because it helps us unravel who Minet actually is, of course. And we have a diverse client base. So most people have this perception that Minet only covers corporates and teachers and government. But no, we have individuals who are covered by Minet. Some of you, if you have cars, chances are your cars are covered through Minet. Okay? And many other solutions. So what's our purpose today? We want to innovate around emerging risks. And I'll just tell you what emerging risks look like. Not just the insurance that you know, kawaida. Some of the emerging risks are climate-related risks. Some of you are reporting for climate-related issues. Sustainability is an emerging risk. What you call director's liability is an emerging risk. Anyone who knows what director's liability mean? Aya, mumeona directors wengi wa kampuni, if there's a problem in the company, the directors are held liable as individuals, right? And being held liable means you are being taken to court to answer. A theft happened, and governance issue happened, you know, and you're going to be taken to court. Sasa ni nani anakonga na $500,000 ama 1 million ama 5 million ameweka kwa account for liability ya kwenda koti to pay lawyers? Nobody, right? But you can insure, get directors. If you are a director in any company, because some of you are directors in companies, if you're a director in any company, you need to cover yourself. Because your employee can make a mistake that is making you liable as a director. When you go to court, the insurance is able to take care of legal fees and any other compensation fees that are required. Yeah. So we are building resilience for a fast-changing African economy. What is the new thing now in Africa? What is the new thing in Africa? AI. Yesterday you saw demonstration of hacking of systems, right? So imagine you are a business transacting billions of shillings in a month or in a year, and then you get hacked. And you have not insured your business against such things. What is going to happen to you? You're going to close. So what are some of the insurance solutions that are coming up to cover such? Anyone with a guess? An insurance solution to cover such? Cyber liability. And it exists. I told you there is nothing that cannot be insured. Yeah? So cyber liability is coming up and companies are taking cyber liability up to cover them against such risks. So what are we looking at between now and the next 30, 40 years as brokers? Remember, we are experts, so our job is also to go look in the market, see what risks are there, and starting to advise insurance companies to develop products and also advise people to take up those products against risks that are coming up. Number one, economic volatility. You all saw what happened during COVID-19. Businesses closed, okay? So companies that took insurance against business volatility were compensated during that period. People were not working, people were not paying rent, you know, so many other things. Climate crisis. Right now it's what is in the biggest news. Climate crisis, we are seeing typhoons, we are seeing floods, we are seeing earthquakes. A volcano just erupted the other day, you know, things that we were not seeing in the past. Yeah. So climate-related disasters, now is when we are advising governments, we are advising businesses, we are advising individuals on how to cover their risks. Digital transformation, I've just talked about cyber liability. SME vulnerability. Some of you here on SMEs have heard about station managers. Maybe you have a small business, you own an SME. One day you will have funding. The next time you don't have funding. Or you do advertisement and the people who've placed adverts are not paying you. You have problems with cash flow, you need to pay your staff, you need to run the organization. If you have covered your business, because we have business insurance, we place business insurance, then you're able to be compensated when such losses occur, okay? And of course, workforce evolution. What is the new workforce that we are welcoming now? They're called who? The new Gen Zs, yeah? So one day they're coming to work nicely, the next day they are protesting. They don't want to come to the office, yeah? Now Gen Zs are accessing AI in the office. That's how they're doing their work. They will attach your documents that you have worked hard to protect in those models, and your information is going to be out there, okay? Now, how do you place such risks? Because isn't that a risk as a business owner? That's a risk, right? So even Gen Zs themselves are a risk because they will come to work at 8, tomorrow they want to come to work at midday. They don't want to be cold, the next day they want to be cold. They want a room that has AC, they want a floor that has carpet. There are demands that they have, right? So how do you protect your business and place those risks in a way that you're able to take care of them? Yeah, so we are moving from a traditional model, which was just placing of insurance, nataka insurance ya gari shika, 2, looking at your client needs. What is the intelligence around the need that you have? What advisory are we giving you? What technology can we harness to give you? And how can we plan? Then we not just become a broker, we become an integrated partner. We advise you. And I'll tell you some of the discussions we were having with your leader here over lunchtime on how we can start partnering and how you need to start thinking about insurance. Sahi naongea mambo insurance and risk, and some people are thinking that is not me. We will discuss some potential risks that are even here in this room now and ask you, if such a thing happens, how have you protected yourself, your family, your property, things that you already have here, okay? So our capability as a business, we will advise you on risks. If I bring in my risk advisor here today in this room, I'm very sure he can get like 100 risks that he can see and advise you on what to do. So not all risks require insurance, okay? Not all risks require insurance. Some risks just require you to change habits or to change how you look at things or to change your environment where you're staying. Then SME protection, because SME now is the bedrock of any economy. Then digital transformation, and of course, how are we going to use artificial intelligence in broking? Anyone who has ever gotten a car insurance and they gave them a telematic put in their car to monitor how you're driving? Anyone? Yeah, so now we have telematics that can be placed in your car. That's artificial intelligence. It will tell how you're driving, when you were braking, if you're braking too hard, if you're driving too fast, if you're driving at the wrong time of the day or night, yeah? If you're overtaking, you're wondering why, eh? What is the wrong time to drive? When people are supposed to be sleeping, why are you driving? Which law? Anyway, we'll discuss that, yeah? Now, what is the future and why are we looking at social impact? Climate and catastrophe solutions. As we sit here, anyone who knows whether it's going to rain or sunshine in December, tell me any farmer now who knows how to plan proper farming going forward based on the climate. We don't know. We don't know if it's going to rain. We don't know if the sun is going. There are predictions that we're going to have floods next year. I mean, we've had these predictions every year, I think. But there are predictions that we're going to have flood next year. How are you preparing yourself? How are businesses, how are organizations preparing themselves? Youth and family products. Now we have Gen Zs who are demanding a certain lifestyle. How are we taking care of that lifestyle? Regional integration. So now we have East Africa, for example, region. If you're an organization that is operating outside Kenya, how are we placing your risk so that you're able to take care of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, or wherever else you are? Of course, customer experience in leadership. Now, we don't only work independently and look for business. We also engage with the community. And some of the things that we do in the community is we have partnered with Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya, and we support children with cerebral palsy, okay? We support their rehabilitation, and we are increasing the number of children who we want to support. Previously, we used to do about 30. You know, rehabilitation is a year-long thing. It never ends. Rehabilitation of children with cerebral palsy never ends. So you can't say, I'll give them 3 months. It's a lifetime commitment. So now we are about 70. We are hoping next year to hit 100 and go on as we get more partners, yeah? We also do tree planting or tree growing. We've adopted Matathia Forest, where we grow our trees. And then we partner with institutions to strengthen safety nets. Remember, our job is to secure Africa's future, to strengthen safety nets around Africa and around Kenya. So if your organization, for example, has programs, solutions, ideas around safety in the country, we are the people you can approach to support you, okay? And of course, all our employees volunteer for these programs, and it is part of their KPIs. Now, partnering with media, because most of you are from the Fourth Estate, your role, of course, is to shape narratives around risk, okay? So narratives around risk is not just about insurance, it's identifying what is risky. Protection and community resilience. Our commitment, we will provide access to information, we'll provide insights and data, okay? And expert voices to enrich your stories. So you are writing a story around a certain risk area and you do not have an expert to voice it, we will provide you with experts. And of course, we work together on human-centered, community-centered initiatives that inform and empower the people. And of course, we hope to build a more informed, better protected Kenya through partnerships and shared purpose once we have collaborated. Now, the next slide, I told you the business development person looked at my slides, so he threw in a slide to sell. I'm not selling to you, I'm just showing you what we have, yeah? Yeah. So when BD took my slides, this is what they added. Health risk financing. We have individual medical plans, international medical plans, travel insurance, capitalization and fund management solutions, that is very important for you, SME and corporate medical solutions, personal accident covers, and hospital cash insurance. For climate change risk financing, crop insurance, somebody was asking insurance for plants, dairy insurance, poultry, area yield insurance. Watu wameka projects za kuku, alafu kuku zote asubuhi ukaamka ukapata zimekufa. Yeah, you know you can insure that loss, yeah, and get compensation. Property, asset, all risk, automobile, if you have your motorbikes and whatever, maybe you have a business of motorbikes, transit solution. If you're moving between Mombasa and you're going back to your home in Eldoret or Nairobi, in case anything happens to you on the way, what insurance covers you and your family, yeah? And then liability risk, I've talked about cyber liability, I've talked about directors and officers liability. There's workman compensation, which is also called WIBA. I hope station managers, you've taken WIBA for your staff. If anything happens to them at the workplace, and you have not taken workman compensation for them, you will be so liable, you will not believe. I hope you've also taken director's liability, so that if anything happens to them and you're personally liable, director's liability can cover you. Cost pension. So thank you very much. Like I told you, I wasn't going to sell. I hope I've not sold.
Shown us. You've just shown us.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So now, questions.
Yes, 1, 2. That's it. Mtu mwingine akiinua mkono tumefunga hiyo story.
Thank you, Nekesa. I think mine, I'm asking on behalf of all of us as journalists. Tukiangalia mambo ya insurance, unaelewa Swahili poa?
Sana,
okay,
ni kuongea.
Na sheng
tena is better.
Okay, sawa. Okay, so awesome. Ukiangalia mambo ya insurance na ucheki mambo ya shares, kuna venye tunaonangania wasi wadosi. You know, the rich, the elitist, the rich, people who are in the top. So mi nime benefit na insurance. I grew up in Mathare. Sikuwa najua mambo ya insurance, sikuwa najua mambo ya shares. I started working as a journalist at KBC, where the managers then were talking about, hey, by the way, I have shares in a certain company. And I got curious. What are shares? And then later, what is insurance? So I would like you to share, kama mi ni journalist freelance sahi, I have a small family, I'm still young. What kind of investment can I do with Minet? So you're breaking it down. Because I used to do like 3K per month. Well, not 3K, 2K. I used to do 2K per month. And it went a long way kunisaidia kulipia mtoto wangu who is now in campus, high school, throughout. So, nataka tu you share so that by the time watu wanatoka hapa, you fed us how we can work with you as journalists, but then at a personal level, how can we benefit from some of the products that you have practically, so that 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, we are not lap dogs, tulitwa guard dogs. You know, we have stood in a way that those brown bags no longer matter because we have some security. Thank you.
Yo, unasikia 2K ilisomesha mtoto mpaka kampo. Msicheze. Who was the other person?
Okay. So mnafanyaje sasa kama brokers make sure, for instance, hospital hakuna venye ina overcharge ama ina exploit wale clients.
Nini? Yeah, directors.
Directors. Okay. First of all, I must say I am so impressed by your questions, because those are questions that are never answered sometimes in our process of selling. Sale watu wanauza, wanataka haraka. Niuze, nitengeneze pesa niende. So sometimes there is a lapse in trying to explain. So let me start with her question. And I think I need to start with your question. I need to start with defining what insurance is. Okay? Now, number one, insurance is not savings. I'm going to repeat. Insurance si pesa yenye unaweka kwa bank, utaenda kuchukua saa zile unataka pesa kutumia. Okay? Insurance is a risk protection for compensation in case it protects you against what you call unknown risks. And that is why and congratulations to all I think I've seen 2 ladies who are expecting. Congratulations, we love babies. Minette loves babies. In fact, we have a club called Blooming Moms that does nothing but supports women who are expectant. Awako hapa. Are they here? Are they here? Wanipe namba zao niwapigie. So now, why I wanted to use pregnant ladies as an example. You cannot be pregnant and walk into an insurance company and want insurance. They'll not give you. Okay? When you're pregnant, you cannot walk into an insurance company and then they give you insurance. As an individual, let me clarify. You can be pregnant as part of a group, an organization that is taking insurance for all the people in the organization, and they will cover you. But as an individual, no. Why? Because that's a known risk. I'm not calling it risk in a negative way. It's a known something that is going to be compensated. Tushajua tu wewe umechukua insurance not for anything else but to take care of that baby. After that, hatujui kama utakuwa client ama hautakuwa client. Okay? But if you are part of an organization, for example, Association of Grassroots Journalists today takes insurance for the members. And one of the members is pregnant while you are taking insurance, we will cover. Why? Because the risk is spread across many people. You understand? Insurance is science. Those people who've done actuarial science will understand insurance. It is purely science of how do the probability. Watu walifanya mathematics. By the way, hata nasema hapa probability, mi maths ilikuwa imenishinda. Watu walifanya probability. You remember probability? You remember probability? Was it in primary or in high school? Primary school. Mulikuwa mna joke na probability. Yeah? You guys joked with probability, then you didn't take it serious. Okay, not you. Me and my team, my like. We joked with probability, but probability was introducing you to risk management. What are the chances that this is going to happen or this is not going to happen? Same thing with statistics, same things with algebra. The algorithm that is creating AI today is because of algebra. You're trying to find X, Y. If this and this happen, this is going to happen. Okay? So same thing with insurance. What is the chances that that person is going to claim? Sasa kama umeshow up na mimba, see you are going to claim. So tutasema no. But if you take the insurance and then you stay for like a year, then you get pregnant, we'll cover you. Because you didn't know that in a year's time you're going to get pregnant. That is what we are assuming. Maybe you knew, but you didn't. According to us, you didn't know. So, why you must take insurance and why insurance is not expensive the way you think it is expensive. Let's start with an example. Anyone tell me the cost of their phone? You all love your phones. Give me a cost of your phone. Say? 7,000. Okay. So your phone costs you 7,000. How much do you think it costs you to cover that phone for a year? What? 450. Now for 450, the company is going to compensate you if you lose that phone. How did we come up with pricing of 450? That is probability. What is the probability that this phone is going to be stolen? This is a journalist. They go to work every day. They live in a house. Hawaishi yuko ushambani. Wanaishi maybe in a gated community, for example. So what is the probability that the phone is going to get lost? And they are using the phone as work tool. So their need to take care of that phone is high because it's their work tool, it's their property. So chances are hataenda tu akipoteza simu. So we price it lower. But I can tell you, if you are a what? Yeah, well, maybe as an example, you are Makanga, for example. Chances of you losing that phone is very high. So while I give him 450, I'll probably charge you 700 because you price the risk as well. Now, she asked about the importance. How can everybody afford insurance? Number one, personally, your personal property, please insure them. Your phones, wacha tuanze na simu. Si unaweza pata 500, unaweza pata 700 ya kuinsure simu yako ya 70k. Badala ya kununua simu ingine. Simu ikipotea today, so you will look for money to get another phone. Now, instead of you looking for money to get another phone, which is going to be very expensive, why not insure that phone? Claim is you present a reason my phone was stolen so long as haikuibiwa kwa bar. Again, let me tell you, insurance covers unknown risks. When you're in the bar, what are we expecting you to do? Cover news. Okay, sawa, kama ulikuwa ukikover news. If you are covering news in the bar and you can prove that mimi nilikuwa nimeenda kwa bar kucover news, we will pay. But if it happens that uliokotwa sijui wapi at 3 a.m. and you are reporting that your phone was stolen, that is a known risk. You deliberately put yourself in harm's way and you placed a claim. What was the other question before I come to him? Have I answered your question about affordability? Now, the other way of affordability of insurance, there's something called insurance premium financing. Most banks give premium financing. Malipo ya pole pole. Now, IRA came with a rule and said you pay up front. But we, as insurance people, we know that watu wakwangi tuna pesa up front ya kulipa insurance. So we partner with financial institutions and say, can these people be paying you pole pole? You pay us up front, we give them insurance, let them be paying their 100 shillings or 200 shillings per month. So there's premium financing. The other way, which is what we were discussing with him over lunch hour, is this is an association. And the association is funded by some partners, right? If you are seeking partners, one of the way of seeking partners is seek a partner who can also fund insurance of the members. It could be medical, it could be personal accident, it could be group life cover. But get a partner who can fund members of that group. Why? Because it's going to be cheaper, people are many, and highly likely you can get insurance because people look at funding groups. Okay? Question you asked about hospitals and negotiation. Now, as brokers, we don't pay claims. You understand? Sisi ni middlemen. Well, the person who's supposed to pay claims, the person who sits with the risk, which is the insurance company or called the underwriter, and the client. Okay? So the person who is mostly interested in paying the right amount of money is the underwriter, who is supposed to sit with claims. Okay? The underwriter here is the insurance company. However, as risk advisors, CC, we advise the insurance companies on which hospitals they should put on their panel. Hospitali yenye imenemiwa, for example, in fraudulent activities, tunawambia don't put. Hospitali that overcharges, we know them. We tell them, don't put in your panel. So that is how we sometimes negotiate. 2, when you leave hospital, even with SHA, some of you, I'm hoping all of you have SHA, yeah? When you leave hospital, or when you're in hospital and you're getting treatment, one of the things that insurance companies do is they go and confirm that whatever you are being treated for is actually what they're charging you for. And we have had situations where hospitals have become greedy and they want to charge for things that you actually did not consume. Gloves, sijui syringe, ulidungwa shindano gani, maybe you didn't consume. So what insurance companies, and sometimes they relegate that to the brokers, what they do is they go through your itemized bill and say, hii ugonjwa, huyu aliadmitiwa na homa. Mbona mnampea shindano ya Kalazar? Remove it. Okay? So that is how they negotiate, to make sure you're not being overcharged. And whenever you feel like you're being overcharged, just alert your broker or alert your insurance company. They'll come for them. There was something you wanted to ask? Oh, I responded. So, yes.
I was doing a story in Turkana, and I realized most pastoralists do not insure their animals, and they 100% depend on animals. So when it matters climate change, you realize most of them die. So this farmer remains poor. And when they do that, some of these farmers maybe have taken loans, or maybe they just inherited the animals and all that. What initiative do you have as an organization to actually help them know about animal insurance? Because most of them do not know that there is animal insurance as well.
Okay, good question. Now, 2 things. There is letting them know about animal insurance and looking at those farmers and asking, are they able to afford insurance? Yeah? So I can tell anybody and everybody about insurance, but I also need to risk profile you. Are you able to afford animal insurance? So there's a project called Drive. I don't know if you've heard about that project. So there's a project called Drive where World Bank has partnered with the government of Kenya, and I think some insurance companies, including reinsurance companies, and World Bank is funding such project. So some of those farmers and some of those pastoralists are being funded through such projects. I was also telling him that we are in the process of setting up Minet Foundation, because we realized as brokers, we have all this data and we have all this information about who can afford insurance and who cannot afford insurance. And we cannot just give out insurance to these groups as Minet insurance brokers, because we are owned by a PE fund, au wanataka profits. Wakisikia pesa yao unapeleka kwenda kufund watu huko, they'll think you're not serious with their money. But if we set up a foundation and we get our partners and donors to start supporting insurance of marginalized groups or people who probably would not access insurance through the foundation, then that's a different story. So it's something that we are doing. How many of you have heard about HWC? Anyone knows about HWC? Your community media, those things are happening in your communities. Human-wildlife conflict compensation. You've heard about it, yeah? So that is one of the projects that we are driving, where we've seen there are so many farmers and so many people who live in areas that are prone to wildlife, yeah? And their crops get distracted, sometimes people get injured, some people are even killed by those animals, and they don't get compensated. So the government has set up this fund and put in place these players who have the administrative capability of transferring, of helping the government administer compensation to those people. There was a 6-month pilot project which has just ended. I think now the government wants to set it up as a proper project to support these guys. So those are just some of the initiatives that come into play when we are supporting farmers. Yeah.
Great. Tupigie Caroline Nekesa makofi. I am certain that this has been very enlightening. Yes, tupigie makofi mazuri. Thank you so much. I know this has been enlightening. We all thought, or some of us thought, that insurance ni ya gari, ya maisha, ya education. But now we understand that we can insure anything, because By the hata mimi hiyo swali imenisumbua. Emotional nini compensation. Juu watu huku nje ile dust wanaona. People should, ama you guys don't think someone needs compensation for that. Insurance ya heartbreak. Mtu akitwanga heartbreak, unapewa compensation. Kumbe mko serious?
Sawa. So yes, there is insurance for heartbreak called Simnyamaze. There is insurance for heartbreak called medical insurance. Okay? Now, listen, wait, don't dismiss. How is medical insurance for heartbreak? We may not insure heartbreak because can you see heartbreak? Unaweza ona na macho? You can't see heartbreak na macho. But what are you going to see as a result of heartbreak? Stress. You're going to see depression. You're going to see physical sickness. You're going to see high blood pressure. You're going to see sugars going low because hakuli. Yeah? So we can only insure what we see, right? So now, those things that I've mentioned can be covered under your medical insurance. Medical insurance has a mental health benefit. So mental health benefit will cover, you will speak to a mental health specialist, ataanza kusaidia some of those heartbreak symptoms. Alafu ukisikia hauna sugars, when you go to hospital, they'll give you a cannula and they'll put dextrosol in the water. At least itaongeza sukari kwa mwili. Uamke, you know. So we will, ukikuwa na depression, we'll send you to a psychiatrist or a psychologist to help you. So yes, do we cover mental heartbreaks? Yes, we cover the symptoms that result from heartbreak. Have I answered your question? For your information, Minet as an organization, like I said, we are not an insurance company, but we have employee assistance program. It is free for our clients. You can call a counselor or a therapist any time of the day or night to speak to them. They're available 24/7. So long as you are in part of our ecosystem, you can call them and you can speak to them about anything, including heartbreak. Tukupe replacement.
I can feel you guys are calling for a love session here.
That's mental health. And just for Association of Grassroots Journalists, I am offering a session for your members at a time of your choice. Once we leave, I'll get you a webinar because we may not have a session like this physical, but I'll get you a webinar for all your members on mental health for free. Yeah? And we can have a discussion.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much. I know you guys are waiting to hear if part of your package ya heartbreak kukona ya kukuja Mombasa. Hakuna. So bad, right? But it is well, it is well. Moving on, we'll have our last panel discussion. Still having the conversation on partnership, and we'll be speaking about media and business. We'll be having a panelist from the private sector speaking about partnership and how best they are engaging the media. So I'd like you to help me welcome Miss Lydia, who will be Hilda, my apologies, who will be moderating this session. Tumpigie makofi mpaka afike. Until she comes. Karibu sana.
Hello, good afternoon. Are you good? You know, this is that discussion, or it is that time that you are given the microphone. And if you're not keen enough, you might end up talking to yourself, right? So I want this engagement, or rather discussion, to be as short as possible, but again, it should be sweet and engaging. So make sure you don't sleep, because if you sleep, I'll just mention your name. I know almost all of you. So DJ, DJ umelala sana leo. So ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome on stage our panelists for this discussion. We have Mr. Frederick Nyambane from SATO. DJ ngoja. Simama tu hapo Frederick. DJ, huwezi kutufanyia hivyo. Leta moja ya Frederick Nyambane. Nyambare. Mimi ni Mluya nisamee. Haya, twende naye. Pigieni Frederick makofi mazuri bwana. Asante sana DJ. Our next panelist is Mr. Paul Kimanzi from KenGen. Ngoja Paul, usikue na pupa. Usikue na pupa. DJ. Mnajua mnaenda? Mr. Paul Kimanzi makofi mazuri. Piga makofi mazuri kwenu. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul Kimanzi. The last one we have Mr. Swale Muninzwa from Safaricom. Swale Muninzwa from Safaricom. Tafadhali karibu sana, patia Swale yake. Tafadhali. Swale moja. Hatuibi kura. Hatuibi kura Swale. Tafadhali utatusame. Aya, DJ. Unapenda gani? Tarabu utaweza nayo, si ndio? Gani hiyo? Haya, twende nalo. Pigini Swale makofi. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is our time to start our... Mbona mnacheka? Amemaliza vizuri, si ndio? Lazima tuhakikishe kwamba tulali. So we want really to get into our discussion this afternoon, and as I said, it's that this conversation is going to be very short but very sweet, because many a times, most of us as journalists, we've been complaining. Sometimes you want to do this story, but you want to get this information, or rather this data from this organization, and when you go there, unaambiwa, si mimi niko responsible kukupatia hiyo information, si ndio? Unaambiwa enda ukuje kesho. Kesho unakuja tena unaambiwa it's not me who's supposed to give you that information. Unakuja tena, yani wamekunyima lakini wanakunyima indirectly, si ndio? So our partners are here, and probably we will just give them time to introduce themselves. You will just start by maybe telling us your name and maybe your company, what does it deal with, and then we'll go to the next question. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Kimanzi. I am from KenGen. KenGen is a Kenya Electricity Generating Company. It's 70% public and 30% private. If you randomly walk into any home, you'll find that 6 out of 10 homes will be powered by KenGen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are not too sleepy after the lunch. My name is Frederick Nyambare. I work for SATO. It's part of the Lixil Group. We support organizations to improve access to safe water and sanitation and hygiene. And we also do a lot to make homes better for everyone, everywhere. And I will be telling you more about our work later on. My background is in public health. This is my second time attending the AGJK conference. Last year I was here as well. And journalists hold a special place in my heart because it was my mom's dream career. So it's nice to meet you all again. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Swale Muninzwa from Safaricom PLC, Corporate Communications. Safaricom is Kenya's internet, SMS, and M-Pesa producing company. And Fuliza, as I had Kenjen being introduced in that manner. So it is my hope, first of all, that you are all using Safaricom in one way or another. See you. Sinyini my customers. Excellent. Then yesterday I also had some hard questions being asked to someone on the stage. I hope you don't have similarly hard questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swale. And maybe just beginning from you, many partnerships between media and corporate organizations are event-based. Like currently, I think many community media, maybe practitioners who are here will tell you that we are currently carrying out a campaign, Safaricom at 25 Shangwe. So, being that you always incorporate us, maybe at event-based, maybe events. So my question will be, what long-term models of collaboration will community media, are you willing to, maybe to commit to? That will be my first question to you.
You know, usually in panels, you start easy going up. So if that is the easy one, it's gonna be a hot one. But just to comment, I think it's a wonderful question. And first, to appreciate the journey to get to Shangwe has been a very, very long one. Because just a year ago, when you were doing what we are calling Sambaza Furaha, Safaricom at 24, most of that was being carried by the bigger, I don't know how to put it, but the national stations, if I may put it that way. And the fact that today we are here and saying almost 70% of Shangwe is being carried by the community and grassroots stations. For us at Safaricom, we feel first it's a step in the right direction. Just to answer that, because we've been getting a lot of questions that you guys, when you do your events, you call us, but when it's time to have money conversations, you run back to your guys who are your neighbors in Nairobi. So Shangwe, we really made it intentional that we want to work with community and grassroots media. Then I think that is juxtaposed with the reality that marketing budgets are really disappearing. I was just looking at some reports, and half one, I think, down 27% across the corporate sector, especially in corporate banking and betting and such industries. So with that reality in mind again, having those commercial discussions is then a bit challenging. But in terms of, to answer your question, the long-term things that we can do together, remember you're the guys speaking to our customers every day, CEO. And you are in a good space to syndicate stories for us that speak to your audiences. I think you're also in a good space to address those localized needs. Like I'd give you, let's say an example, we have network challenges in Western. If we address those challenges, we don't need to go to a national station. We just need to work with the guys in Western to tell the people in that space. We've had instances where, let's say, conmen, major is a story, conmen are in a certain market and they're really causing chaos. We can collaborate on such things without having to wait for big national campaigns. And then maybe the last one is also beyond commercial. There's other ways to collaborate. Because for us, transforming communities is a very big thing for us. And there's 2 programs we usually run every year. And unfortunately, the media usually never seem to participate. And every time we engage media, we tell them, this thing is open to each and every Kenyan. And if you participate as media, we are happy to make sure your participation bears fruit. And this is our community initiatives like Ndoto Zetu, where we are supporting projects up to 1M. Right now we have Citizens of the Future. We are doing complete school renovations. So if you don't put in like a submission, we are not able to pick. Lastly, kabisa, on Shangwe, right now we are visiting a couple of stations. 2 weeks ago we were in Western, we spoke to Emuria. I think we were at Radio Lake Victoria, and there's one in Bungoma that Nyota, if I'm not wrong. We went in there, just sat with the presenters and supported the station with each station with some small kitty to also do their CSR. So for us, we are looking at it beyond waiting for Shangwe at 26. There's a whole long year, and there are so many things that we can do within the year that will benefit each and every one of us on the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swale. That was very intense, and I really appreciate for that. And maybe just anyone from maybe you, Mr. Frederick or Paul, could answer this. How can private sector organizations support community media freedom, being that the other time, or rather yesterday, you heard about the editor saying they are always the watchdogs, and sometimes a journalist comes with a story and an editor will say, this one is not going on air. So from where you sit, either Mr. Paul or Mr. Frederick, how can private sector organizations support media freedom without influencing editorial independence?
Do you have any insurance for risk questions? What I think in this case, I remember last week, the whole of last week, we were in Sun and Sand with the Kenya Enters Guild because we are part of the sponsors and partners of the media, just like we are doing in this week with AGJK. I think that what matters most is the motive. When you are giving or supporting media, what is your intention? Do you want them to become more independent? Do you want to empower them? Like someone mentioned, talked about transport. When you have an event or you want media to cover your event, the team will need transport facilitation, for instance. So, like what we do at Kenshin, we don't have those brown hand envelope, but we support the media and we believe in independence of the media. On Friday, Nakuru Journalists Association had also approached us to support their gala dinner, and we have supported them. We do media networking across Kenya. We do it in Kisumu, here in Mombasa. Every year we have that program in our budget, and across all the areas where we have our presence. So we do support, and we believe that this support does it influence negatively the way they report about our business, just to support them and empower them. Thank you.
Okay, that is so nice, because sometimes it reaches a point where you, maybe as media owners who are here, rather the station managers, will concur with me that sometimes you are given maybe a project to carry out, and it comes with so many restrictions, or rather, you don't even look at maybe what are our editorial guidelines, but that was very, very well elaborated. And maybe to you, Mr. Frederick, maybe how can the private sector improve transparency? Because sometimes there is this investigative journalist who wants to maybe expose, not really expose, but the lack of a better word, I'll call it expose. Maybe some of the challenges, that are caused in your products that you're producing, maybe in your organizations. So my question is, how can the private sector improve transparency when journalists expose challenges caused by your products or projects?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Number one, I think I just wanted to also say, during Alex's presentation, one of the things we've always done is to support training of the journalists. I think for us, it's a little bit of a different business from, for example, Kengen and Safaricom, because for us, we solve a social problem, which is lack of access to sanitation and hygiene.
Yeah.
A lot of the work we do is through schools. We have our own compliance guidelines, which we also, in any discussions with the media, engagement, we always have, like, every media owner or every media business also shares with us their guidelines so that we see what is the common ground for that. I want to say, as Lixil, as a company, we are very open and transparent. All our reports are published online, so you can see what we make, what products are made of, what incidences we've had over the years. And we also do a lot of standard and quality, what is it called, monitoring and standardization. So we do a lot of the training. We invest a lot of our budgets on trainings. Even when we work with community media, we always try to make sure that the reporter have accurate facts. When my colleague Alex was presenting here, he was mentioning about the statistics and everything. These things are like with the MOH, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Public Health and Sanitation, World Health Organization, and UNICEF as well. So we verify the facts before, and we make sure that they are very transparent. Right now, Alex was presenting here that our target was to reach 100 million people with improved access to sanitation and hygiene by December 31st of this year. We verify this with the organizations we work with. As a private sector, we are not implementing these things directly. I was having a discussion with Gabriel and Kibe earlier, and we do not implement, we work through third parties, and mostly it's through either the government, for example, with a partnership with UNICEF, Make a Splash, but we also work with World Vision, we work with Plan, we work with many other organizations that also have their own transparency guidelines, and they publish this. Any donor project that is funded for schools, for health facilities that we do, or for the refugee camps, you have to be very, very open, even if you buy a pen, for example. So that's the same approach we also take with the media engagements, and that's why we also invest in training reporters on health to focus also on sanitation and raise the discussion around sanitation. So we are taking those steps like training, being open door policy. So just to mention your point before, like, who is your contact person? For Kenya, here is Alex. And Alex will give you the right information you need from us, where we work, how many toilets have been installed in certain schools, what is the impact, because that's a big thing that we measure. And all of these are published every year. Our financial year runs from April 1st to March 31st. Okay. So in 3 months, you always have like an audited report, which is shared also with the media. And this is easily available online. Thank you.
Okay, and maybe just Mr. Swale, if you can just comment on this, because the other time, just 2 weeks ago, we were doing a story with my colleague John, and we were interviewing this one lecturer on issues of sexual health rights. And this lecturer told us, you have to send me this story first. I listen to it, I approve it before maybe you take it on air. So when Mr. Frederick is talking and you are talking about matters verification, I was just looking at it as if, do you mean verification as in I sent you the story, you listen to it first, you tell me, Hilda, I don't want this one to go on air, but I have really gotten your input on that. So to you, Mr. Swale, maybe if you can just comment on maybe the issue of transparency. Yeah.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. I think my first response will be, number one, we just try and ensure the reporter is well informed as to the facts. And I think a good example I can give is what Dr. Gameli was talking about yesterday. So he showed us how many ways someone can find information about you without necessarily having to come to, let's say, an organization like Safaricom. So as a reporter with that information in mind, if then the first sentence in your story is thanks to Safaricom, these guys were able to get this information, then, for us, we would of course feel a type of way, because the facts show that the information about you can be discovered in multiple ways. So first is the assumption that we avail such information to reporters and pretty much anyone who engages with our ecosystem, whether it's the legal fraternity, because again, a lot of these matters end up in court, and you also want that space to understand how the things work, whether it's the regulatory space as well, so that everyone in that ecosystem understands. Then the other bit for us, we just try and remain open. I think there's so many stories that usually come out, and even when you do PR pieces, at no point do we ask the reporter to send us the copy before publishing. So it's something, at the earliest we can see it is when it's going to print, which I mean is too late if let's say it's a newspaper. If it's a TV piece, we've had instances where someone tells you, can you get me 20 minutes with the CEO? You get them 20 minutes, they ask all the good questions, and then they sneak in one hard one, and that's what you see at 9 p.m. But I think that's just the way it is. Utaniambia nitakufanyia story fiti, but you have your own question that maybe even your editor has told you, usitoke hapa bila hiyo story, hizo zingine wewe uliza tu, which is fine. So for us, I think as long as the story is factual, that's just all we usually try and ensure. So if it's not factual, of course, we will then be like, guys, this maybe was not factual because of 1, 2, 3. But for us, our standard operating procedure is never to interfere with the journalistic process. Thanks.
Just to add one last point, and I think 2 points actually. One is there are sometimes legal implications involved, like you said. But also, as a journalist, I think you also want to it's not like I have to approve your story. It's about like if you are writing a story about a private organization, you give them the chance to also get back to you so that you have both sides of the facts that you are looking for before. It's not like anybody is going to stop you from publishing the story, but you may also be facing legal challenges that you would have just verified by saying, these are the things I know, and do you have a response for it? I see many journalists always writing that we reached out to this person, but they were not, we did not get their response at the time of publishing. So that's why, but it's not like you have to seek approval from the private sector to publish anything, especially if it involves malpractice or the default products. You've seen a lot of the information online about, for example, some of the brands, and the brands always come back fighting the journalists. But for you, in terms of getting the information, I don't think there's any block from organization like Lixil for you to do that. And we encourage it actually.
Anything to say? Because again, I was wondering at what point does it reach? Because when Mr. Bright was sharing yesterday, we saw things to do with KPLC, and he said someone can just be tracked anytime, because when I happen to pay my token and you guys have my details. So as you comment on issue of transparency, again, I really want you to talk on maybe to what point do you give our data? Because, yeah, matters data protection.
Yeah. Thank you for this question. We usually don't interfere with the editorial independence. We have never asked for, for the story before it goes to press. We have never done that. We usually give media their independence. I think the highest control that we have exercised over the media is when we send a press release. A press release is, you have already written the story, then you give them the story to publish, but they still have their independence because they can choose whether to, whether it goes the way it is, whether to do some amendments. That's what we do. We give them all the independence. Yeah.
That is so nice. All right, guys, we've reached at a point where we really want to get your questions. Maybe if any one of you has a question to either Mr. Swale, Mr. Frederick, or other Mr. Paul, the floor is now open.
First, I have a question to Mr. Swale. You have talked about media freedom and the private sector, but Safaricom is always used to get data of Kenya, especially when they were having maandamano. So where does this freedom lie? Because we don't see it happening. Safaricom inatumika na serikali. So where is it?
Okay, so I think before you give away the mic, I'll just pose this question just to tie together some of the things I've been saying. As an independent journalist, would you be in a position to substantiate that if you put it in a story?
That is what is in the public domain.
Correct.
Yes.
But as you do it, let's say you're doing your own story, as a journalist, I didn't get your name, sorry.
I'm John.
John.
Yes.
As John, now unasema John na ripoti hapa kutoka Paradise Inn na Safaricom wanapeana data. As in such a scenario, would you be in a position, because what I'm trying to get to the point is, and that's why I think people like Bright were here, to demonstrate the multiple ways people can get your information. So it's just unfortunate that, let's say, an organization like Safaricom, being the largest telco in this space, will then be able to bear the brunt of this positioning. So that's that as far as data protection is concerned. And then if you look at the position we have taken on this matter, for us, we've taken a step, and all we are saying is our work, fine, Kenyans now, this is the position that maybe Kenyans have about us, unfortunately. So instead of maybe going to media houses and telling them, usiseme your story, us, the step we are taking is to demonstrate that trust, that you can get the data in other forms. For us, we follow whatever processes that need to be followed, etc., just to give our customers that reassurance. And then now for you as a journalist, maybe it's also just to be interrogating such things when you come across them and verifying them, because now for us, we're also very, very reachable and very available to comment on such matters. Thanks.
My name is Jemima. My question is, to Swale, that is, community media, most of the time we depend on funding from the private sector, especially if community radio gets funding from Safaricom. You're like, oh, our jobs are secured in some way. But thinking, have you ever pulled out funding from any media house? And what were your reasons for pulling out?
Reasons for pulling out. Okay. Anyway. So, guys, focus. So, in terms of funding, the way the thing works is, sorry, the way it works is, technically we won't be able to withdraw funding, because it's like a typical procurement process. See, so it's a service rendered, and service need to be paid for. So if you've done my advert, and see, I need to pay you. So even if tomorrow you go and say something that maybe we don't like, we can't not pay you for the work that we've done or we've contracted you to do. Maybe the worst that would happen is you'll be in the fridge for a few months as we try and talk nyuma ya tent. Because remember as well, these things, it's all about the relationship. And for us to have a relationship to the extent that we are doing business, the assumption is that whenever you have such stories, that right of reply that was mentioned here, whenever there's such a story, at the very least, give us a right of reply. But to the best of my knowledge, we've not been in a situation where we've withdrawn funding. I think the biggest case that many of you may be aware of is, I think there was a time back where guys were saying we have a beef with Nation, etc. But I think we sorted that out, and right now, if you look at Nation newspapers, they still do a hot story. I think the most recent one, they said we have with, what is it called? The data bundles, we've changed the prices, etc., but they're still pushing the ads. So for us, we try not to have grudges with people, because we appreciate the fact that if we have a grudge with you, the damage, I think, that you can do is way worse than if we are talking on a daily basis. Thanks.
Naam, nadhani ni wakati wangu kuuliza swali kwa utanikumbusha jina kwa Safaricom. Swali langu ni kwako, na jaribu kufikiria kwa sababu kusema ule ukweli, community radio zina struggle sana katika masuala ya finance. Baadhi yao ama baadhi yetu nafanya kazi kujitolea muda mwingi sana, na hapa kila mmoja akikwambia kile ambacho anakipata ama anapewa, wewe utashangaa. Lakini katika zile studio ambazo tunafanya, tuna communicate sana na mitandao yenu ya kijamii, ikiwa mmoja wao ni Safaricom. Watu wengi wanapiga simu, watu wengi watumana SMS pale. Sasa ukumbuke zile simu ambazo zinapigwa na zile SMS ambazo zinakuja, Safaricom wanakata kitu katika zile simu, zinaingia katika akaunti yenu kama nyinyi. Kwa nini msiingie katika mkataba kidogo tu kwamba hizo simu ambazo zinapigwa, pia hizi redio za kijamii ama ziko pale kwa jamii, nazo zipate kitu kutoka zile simu ambazo wanafanya, ili kusaidia masuala ya pesa, ili kuokoa hawa wanahabari ambao wako hapo, kwa sababu ni kubaya. Hiyo moja. Mbili, inaenda kwa afisa wa KenGen. Mimi nimetoka kule sehemu za Tana River, especially Tana Delta, ni sehemu ambayo inakumbwa na mafuriko mara kwa mara, hususan jamii na inaamini kwamba yale mafuriko yanatoka kwenu kule sehemu za juu. Wanaamini kwamba yale maji mnazuia kwa muda, alafu mkiachilia mnaachilia mengi mpaka yanaharibu mashamba yao na vitu kama hivyo. Ikiwa hii si kweli ama ni kweli, mko na taratibu gani za kuhamasisha hao jamii waelewe kwamba ni nini kinaendelea ama nini huwa kiko mpaka wanakumbwa na mafuriko? Asante.
Asante pia kwa swali lako. So, Kiswahili kidogo inanipiga chenga, lakini nitajaribu. Tuna service ambayo inaitwa Premium Rate Service. Anyway, wacha tu niache hiyo kujichocha. So, we have something called Premium Rate Services, and the way they work is that the buyer, or rather the partner, in this case could be your station, could approach Safaricom and say, I have this SMS line, 444, and this number 0722004444, that I want, every time someone send, maybe it's 5 bob per SMS, that will then come in, instead of the normal, because if you use your SMS line, si atatuma tu zile SMS za bure, sio. But if you're now on this premium rate service, you would be able to bill the caller in a way that will show up as revenue for your station. So I think those discussions can be had. For those who may be interested, we could link you up with the people in that space, so that at least when your guys call in, there's that extra bit of revenue. And I think we see some of the national stations already doing it, when they tell you to call in or send a text somewhere, and it's showing up as revenue for them as well. Thank you.
Najaribu kujibu swali lako kuhusu flooding. Si kweli sababishi mafuriko. What happens is that during heavy rains, the dams are used to mitigate actually that flooding by holding huge volumes of water to ensure that the communities living downstream hawafikiwi na hiyo mafuriko. Na wakati kuna mafuriko Tana River, Garissa, unaweza pata hizo damu zote za KenGen hazijajaa maji bado, lakini kule chini kuna mafuriko. Hilo tuseme ni jambo ambalo limekuwa kwa muda mrefu, na kuna wakati tuliwaita MP from Garissa, leaders from Garissa, Tana River, and we went to the Seven Forks where we have all those dams, and they witnessed for themselves. At the time, the dams were 3/4 full, but at the same time, there were flooding all over in Garissa and Tana River. So wenyewe waliconfess wakasema now they understand that KenGen is not the problem, but they could not tell that to their people for fear of maybe looking like they are siding with us. Yeah. So sometimes it's political. Sometimes politicians make statements just to appear like they are supporting their people, but the truth is that those dams help in mitigating flooding. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Safaricom. It is good you embraced AI and introduced Zuri or the automatic response. Don't you think you are interfering, especially with the grassroots of the community, where maybe a grandmother down there who cannot maybe access to Zuri or get the response immediately? That is first one. Second, there is this service provider which ran away with the short code funds. Which kind of action are you taking to such kind of providers?
Sorry, are you able to clarify that second one? The one for people running away with the short code?
Yes, this is a company which was registered, and after going to their office and we registered, after some few months getting that short code funds, there was a percentage which we were supposed to get. Then at the end of the day, that company is not there, and they did not give any fund to the station. That's a community radio station.
Before you respond, there's one last question for you, and then you can.
Wacha niulize KenGen, alafu pia ndakuja kwa Safaricom. KenGen, labda pengine tu umezungumzia swala la kusema mambo ya kuhusiana na mabwawa ya maji kule West Pokot. West Pokot, najua nyinyi mko kule, na labda pengine nyinyi kama KenGen, najua hamuishi West Pokot lakini mnaishi Kitale, mnasaidia aje wakazi wa pale Takwel? Manake wengi wanaishi maeneo yale lakini hawafaidiki na KenGen. Safaricom, umezungumzia kuhusiana na partnership ya biashara, Nyota FM, West FM na zingine mingi. Je, na hizi zingine ambazo ziko mashinani kule, mbona msipatane nao? Manako mnapatana tu na radio mbili peke yake, Nyota na West, na tuko wengi zaidi kushinda hizo mbili.
You can go first, Swale, and then KenGen.
Okay, so I'll start with the one on the short code. To be honest, I'm still not clear on the specifics, so maybe we can speak after this, because I'm not sure if the question is around the pyramid schemes that people usually run, or if it's a PRS guy who defrauded the organization. So if possible, let's touch base after this one for me to understand the specifics. Then, in terms of the other question on Zuri and AI, etc., as an organization, of course, you have to adopt the technologies that are coming, and just looking at what peer telcos and peer service providers are doing world over, I think you even have other companies that have outsourced their care to India and such things, and even AI purely, you'll never speak to anyone. So as a business, these are realities that the business has to look at. But then on the other side, there's the customer, and rightfully you've said there's a grandmother somewhere who maybe is not so well versed in such matters. So the AI model that we were using was trying to look at the customer profile and say, this is Swale, he's 24 years, he looked like a Gen Z. We think they can survive with Zuri. And then this is Ruben, is a relatively old fellow. Maybe they need to speak to someone to help them. So, and as with AI, the model starts maybe at level 0, and then the more it learns, the more it improves, and then it will be able to open up those options. So increasingly, we are opening up, or rather we are returning that option for more customers, but I think it's also guided by that AI learning model and how it profiles the customer. So that's that. Then the final question on partnering with as many media as possible. I think I will go back to the first reality that I mentioned when I started speaking. Again, the fact is this marketing or budgets are not infinite. I mean, and if you look at the trends year on year, zinaenda ziki deep. So even as the people with the funds, they're also looking at, okay, we want to partner with as many guys as possible, but this is what we have at the moment. So just that reality that, you know, there's that. Then I think there's another side to the coin, if I may say so, that if some of the partnerships sometimes are handled through third parties. Like I know there are people like Dial Radio in that space. I don't know who else, who maybe many of you like or don't like. So just that bit of being bold and getting into such spaces, because most corporates work through agency partners. So there's also that bit of where the station needs to put in some effort to do business development or have relationships with those agency partners, so that at some point, there's a point where I may not know of a station. So, you know, if I may not know of a particular station or not familiar with the statistics, the listenership and all that, I may not be able to recommend said station for a campaign. But if then even the guys we are working with are able to recommend and say there's this new station that is really hitting or doing whatever it needs to do, then it opens the door for such collaboration. Thank you. So don't maybe be in your space, try also reach out. For us at Safaricom, we have guys who we call regional marketing leads. So there's a guy in who handles, let's say, Greater Western, called Mgenya. There's a guy in Coast here also handles. So these people also give us insight on kwa ground, au wanataka station gani. So you know me, if I'm in Nairobi, even if we've talked and had a discussion, I can't tell the guy in Western, tumia hii station, naenda kwa Western, sio? So there's also just that bit of relationship building with the stakeholders. Thank you. Kenji.
Presenter, let me say this point before it escapes my mind. For the community media who are based in Marisabit, please see me. We are working on a project and we want to partner with we have a wind project and we want to partner with the community media based in Marisabit County. Yeah? Back to your question. Thank you. For West Pokot, I think we have supported them. My first encounter with the gunshot at a very close range, I was distributing food in West Pokot last year. That was the first encounter. And we actually give them scholarships. The people who live around our areas of installation, we give scholarships on merit. We also support them in terms of other development like water, connecting them with clean water, and doing so many kind of stuff. I understand there have been news circulating that people of West Pokot are not connected to electricity, and the blame was put on KenGen. You see, we also need to understand different mandates of different state agencies. KenGen generates electricity, we don't distribute. Our work is just to generate. Then from there, it goes to transmission by KETRACO. From transmission is distribution by Kenya Power. And then REREC also does a part of that work in rural settings. So I understand due to limited resources, the impact may not have been felt as people may have anticipated, but I can tell you that KenGen has tried to support the communities in West Pokot. Even the communities there, if you know the history, walivurusha watu wa ofisi zetu hapo za KenGen. People want to go to Kitale. That's where we operate from. Because, but still, we try to create that good working relationship with the community, trying to support them. And I understand the impact. You see, people sometimes expect too much, but the company tries to support whatever possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our panelists. But before I let you go, I would just like you to maybe have 1 minute to maybe give us a parting shot. I know Mr. Swale has mentioned the opportunity, maybe the areas of opportunity, partnerships, but maybe if there are some other partnerships areas you could just mention. I want to give you only 1 minute, 1 minute each, so that you can maybe say your last remarks. Thank you.
My parting shot, we support training of journalists. This December, we are planning to support a Parliamentary Journalists Association. They gave us the request to support their training, and we are organizing one in Naivasha. We take them there in partnership with the Media Council of Kenya to support their training, to empower them to report on energy. And again, we also take journalists to our power plants. We give them everything free. We support them to tour our power plants to be able to understand what happens there, and appreciate our work. So I think my last statement, I would like to say that the media should move away from transactional kind of relationship with the corporates, but make it more strategic so that you can benefit, and the corporate can benefit, and the media can benefit, and the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. At SACCO, parting shot, we will still continue working with the community media to, of course, highlight the challenges in sanitation and hygiene. Please highlight those stories of schools or health facilities that are really going through challenges because they do not have safe toilets and hand washing facilities. We pick those up. We have a company called Spark Publicity that monitors media engagements online. So we pick up this story and see how to support those schools and health centers and some of the refugee camps. Of course, last year, there are some of you who talked to us about your CSR program. So if you have any corporate social responsibility programs in your media houses around sanitation and hygiene, please feel free to talk to us and we can see how to support those. And then we're also looking at leveraging social media. Some of you have so many followers on your Instagram and Twitter. If you feel you have the numbers, please, Victor is here, Alex is here, and we can see how to also support you beyond just the media organization as well. And thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to speak with you. We are in water sanitation and hygiene, but also we work with organizations that also do a little bit of menstrual hygiene as well. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
I think for me, most has already been said. For us, first is just to appreciate media for being our partners. 25 years, and through all that, media has always been the people telling our story. We're also increasingly appreciating the role that community media plays in reaching our customers, and that's why we are increasingly playing in this space. So please feel free to reach out with any proposals, with any thoughts, etc., and then we see what can come out of those conversations. I think not everything will always turn into a business engagement, but just the fact that we keep talking, then we remain top of mind, and when the opportunity comes, it's there to be grabbed. And lastly, I think has rightfully been said, we think beyond commercial, what is it called? In that editorial and storytelling space, the idea on short codes sound like a good one for revenue and such things. So even for you, the challenge is to just innovate in your space, and for us, we'd be very happy to support. Thank you very much for having us here today.
Thank you so much for you audience for listening to us and to be very attentive. No one of you slept, apart from one, but I will not mention. Back to you, Susan.
Thank you so much. Tuwapigie makofi mazuri sana. Please don't leave. Be upstanding for a photo. Mnaona hapa kuna partnership tayari iko karibu kukua build. Yeah? Watu wa Marsabit oye. Kila mtu amekuwa wa Marsabit sasa. I see you. Eh? Thank you so much, Kenjen. Thank you, Sato. Swale, fikisha salamu zetu and our appreciation to Safaricom. We acknowledge for making it. Watu wafuliza.
Sorry, and just the last one. I think if you have also any associations in your spaces, you can also reach out as associations. We see what we can partner around. Thank you.
Great. Makofi. What I have picked out from the whole conversation is in as much as we are looking for monetary support and partnership, we still have so much resource that we can partner from. So as you continue engaging, get to understand for this company, for this organization, for this media house, what resource do they have that we can tap in? And also the power of association. It might be difficult for Lulu FM ama ile station yoyote iko pale kufikia Safaricom individually. But moving as an association makes it very possible for partnership. So let's keep joining forces, let's keep speaking out and moving as one voice. And that's how we call it a day. For day 3 finally, wapi makofi? Wapi makofi ya day 3? Finally we have made it to day 3. We have 2 more days to go. And 1 night. Sawa? Msisahau we have a night. Remember tomorrow we'll be having a guest who will be joining us. We'll be having the ambassador from the United States. We will be having the governor of Mombasa County. We will be having MP Muhammad Ali who will be joining us. And as I mentioned in the morning, you know how you were in school? Ile siku ya closing day. alafu mnaambiwa endeni nyumbani mkafue uniform ndo kesho mkuje mkiwa great. So let's meet tomorrow. We'll begin tomorrow exactly at 8:30. Enjoy your evening. Yes. T-shirts nimeambiwa niwafanyie hivi but nisha speak in tongues na mumeelewa. Anyway, see you tomorrow and enjoy your evening and night.
Problem in all the finish. We can try to enjoy. But in all the finish. We can try to enjoy. We can the finish. We can try to enjoy. Problem in all the finish. We can try to